cools. This change of temperature with height is known as the lapse rate. 600 miles farther south, but 7,000 feet higher than Mount Algonquin, altitude is why the Ski Santa Fe Resort in New Mexico averages a high of 32 degrees in the winter and has an annual snowfall average of 225 inches. Stacked up, that's taller than one of London's famed double-decker buses. Hitting the slopes at the Ski Santa Fe Resort means taking a leisurely chair ride. But high above the ground, danger lurks everywhere, as one unfortunate teenager discovered during a ski lift free fall. February 2nd, 2013. 17-year-old snowboarder Jacob Gutierrez and a friend are on a ski lift at the resort. From a chair in front, another friend records the ride, but 45 feet above the slopes, none of friends.
So I actually grabbed some snow off of my board, and when I threw it, I guess I was already sitting at the edge of my seat.
The momentum sends Jacob sliding forward.
I actually grabbed the armrest with my elbow, so I was just hanging by my elbow for a little while there.
Jacob's friends are aghast, filming as he dangles in midair.
Jake, what the f are you doing?
When the chairlift's rocking, it makes it really difficult to get back up onto the seat.
4 stories above the ground, Jacob is in a gut-wrenching battle with gravity, and there's little his friend in the lift can do to help.
She grabbed my legs a few times just to give my arms a rest.
For 6 minutes, Jacob strains every sinew to hang on.
These huge boulders just start coming in right below me. My hands are getting tired, my arms are getting tired. There's a possibility that I might slip off here and land on one of these boulders.
The terrified teen is losing the fight, and there'll be no soft landing.
Unfortunately, I actually fell. My upper half of my body actually hit a boulder. I really wasn't in that much pain because it was so cold and I was basically numb everywhere.
Tell him to send a medic, dude!
My face was a little bit warm. So it was actually blood coming down from my head because I had hit my skull on the boulder.
Within 2 minutes, the paramedics arrive at Jacob's side.
I kept telling the paramedics when they finally came, like, my chest hurts pretty bad. I'm having trouble breathing.
Jacob is rushed to the hospital, where he's diagnosed with a fractured skull, a collapsed lung, and a lacerated liver. He spends 3 days in intensive care, but miraculously, he survives.
My mom says from time to time that I have 9 lives because I've been in so many accidents, so I definitely feel lucky to be alive.
Coming up, we return to the desperate fight for survival for a pair of college sweethearts stranded on a frozen slope.
I was just so scared. This is the first time anything bad has ever happened for a hike for me, so it was terrifying.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and that sunrise something. I honestly feel that way about Jimmy Dean sausage. Get yourself a large chunk of that good morning feeling.
Oh, that smells good.
Today, back pain can't win. Now introducing Aleve Back and Muscle Pain. Only Aleve targets tough pain for up to 12 hours with just 1 pill. Aleve Back and Muscle, all day strong, all day long.
Bayer presents Ordinary versus Overachiever. A lot of paints say they can do the job, but just one can bear through it all. Bayer Premium Plus, a top-rated interior paint at a great price. Family-friendly, disaster-proof. Find it exclusively at the Home Depot.
You can drink, eat well, and exercise, but to look completely healthy, you need healthy skin. Cetaphil Water-Light Moisturizers immediately rehydrate skin for continuous hydration, day and night. Complete your healthy routine with Cetaphil.
There's one thing you should know first. I'm coming for you.
skyscraper. Rated PG-13.
Well, it finally happened, Zachary. Somebody burned down my she shed.
Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl.
Well, my she shed's on fire.
Your she shed was struck by lightning.
Zachary, is my she shed covered by State Farm?
Your she shed's covered, Cheryl.
You hear that, Victor? I'm getting a new she shed.
She shear?
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful news.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
New Kleenex Germ Removal Wet Wipes, because it's about who we are. No matter if we're exploring this world or another world, with no harsh chemicals, so you can get a deep clean anytime, anywhere.
Tonight on the Weather Channel, at 8, it's an all-new Heroes and Survivors. Then at 9, the premiere of Firestorm. Then at 10, Oklahoma Tornado Target. For Maddie Popolicio and her boyfriend, Blake Aloyas, a sudden snowstorm has turned a weekend hike on New York's Mount Algonquin into a nightmare.
It was 1 second we could see and we were fine, and then the next minute it was a white, dense cloud that we could not see through.
Blinded by the snow, the couple take a disorienting fall. Now they're lost and stranded on a slope 5,000 feet up, somewhere around the summit.
We didn't know where the trail was and we didn't know where we were. So it was like being in the middle of nowhere with really no direction.
Stuck in a whiteout without a cell phone signal. All they can do is wait for help in unforgiving conditions.
You are exposed to the elements. Winds are going to be gusting 35 to 40 miles an hour. Temperatures down into the teens, possibly even lower, with wind chills well below zero in this area. And the longer you're out there, unfortunately, the less the chances that you're going to be able to survive this.
With their clothes soaked with snow, staying warm is a priority.
We tried lighting stuff in my backpack on fire. We tried lighting extra socks on fire. We tried lighting my backpack on fire, but it wouldn't work because it was so absolutely windy up there and it was snowing that we just could not get a flame going.
The nightmare will not soon be over. It's 8 p.m. before forest rangers begin a search, alerted by Blake's frantic mother, who became worried when he failed to respond to her numerous texts.
You're mostly calling for the people looking for tracks, but all the tracks had been blown over by the wind and the fresh snow.
Every hour, every half hour, Blake and I would go into like just fits of yelling for help, hoping somebody would hear us, either a ranger or somebody hiking the mountain.
After a long night huddled together turns to day, their calls go unanswered. Ranger Scott Van Leer and expert volunteers Don Miller and Colin Lohr struggle through the snow-packed terrain. The ground search is yielding nothing but exhaustion.
So it's not like a consistent walk. You take a few steps and then you plunge and then you got to pull yourself out of that hole and then keep moving.
Hour after hour, the brutal weather is taking its toll on the stricken couple.
I was so freezing. I was shivering. I couldn't stand it. He actually dumped out his backpack, which was very large, and he wrapped it around my legs to try to keep me warm.
And as another bitter day stretches into an even more frigid night, the couple need to hang on because they've no
If they had even continued to look or even started to look, we didn't know what was happening out there.
In the 48 hours since the hunt began, the search party has grown to more than 20 rangers and volunteers, including a helicopter team.
It was pretty bad. Extremely cold conditions, whiteout, blizzard, high winds, not much visibility.
And with worse weather being forecast, it's become a now or never situation.
With that cold weather coming in, I didn't believe they would survive the third night in the woods.
Frozen, frightened, exhausted, and alone in the wilderness, the couple lean on each other like never before.
Without Maddie, I would have been asleep. The snow would have covered me and I would have just died from hypothermia, but she kept me going.
We had a lot of conversations up there. We did make a pact that neither of us could give up. We talked a lot about getting home, what we were gonna do when we got home, things we would do in the future together, because in our minds, we were making it out.
From the Adirondacks, we head to the Alps, where an extreme skier's starring role in a mountain movie goes horribly wrong in the terrifying story of lights, camera, avalanche. It's 2013, and Frenchman Julien Lopez is on the highest mountain in the Alps to shoot a daring movie sequence.
Well, Mont Blanc is basically a skier's paradise. You know, during the month of January, we've got temps in the teens in the morning, afternoon highs in the 30s, plenty of snow. So winter weather lovers, this is really a great place for you.
But where there's fun, there's often danger. Annually, avalanches kill around 150 people worldwide.
Any vibrations at all can cause various layers of snow to release one next to the other. And when those layers release, that snow will actually come down the mountain.
On Mont Blanc, conditions look good as the cameras roll on Julien's run. But within seconds, disaster strikes. A massive crack appears beneath him, and suddenly he's in an avalanche. Julien is being chased by a tidal wave of snow.
We're not talking about a few pounds of snow that are coming down at you, but several tons, large chunks of snow that can bury you very quickly.
Avalanches can move very quickly, just within a few seconds. They'll get going about 20 to 30 miles an hour right when they start, and they can go up to 80 miles an hour.
For 22 seconds, Julien evades the monster. Then, suddenly, he takes a horrifying tumble. Against the odds, Julien survives the fall. But as he clambers back up, he's swamped.
Most people who are caught in the avalanches and buried literally cannot even move their limbs because it is packed in that tight. It's like being buried in frozen cement.
Seconds count as Julien's support team rushes up the mountain to save him.
You're going to be up against hypothermia, of course, because you're basically entombed in snow, which is very cold. But also, if you don't have an air pocket, you're going to have a very difficult time breathing, even just for a matter of minutes.
After a frantic 5-minute search, Julien is finally found, alive. Incredibly, his only injury is a sprained ankle.
These people do this backcountry skiing or this extreme skiing for the thrill of it, obviously, but I think they got a thrill that even they didn't want to sign up for.
Up next, in New York State, rescuers searching for 2 college students stranded on a storm-ravaged mountain struggle to beat the clock as the weather turns dramatically worse.
I didn't lose hope during the incident, but I knew it was a very limited window to find them alive.
I get rid of pests.
Hi.
Hi. Oh.
Come on in.
Always using the latest science.
There's not a crumb in this house, and yet I still find bugs.
Well, insects aren't always looking for food. Sometimes they look to stay out of the cold or for a place to lay their eggs. That's why I'll create a customized plan using the latest science from my team of entomologists to keep your home from becoming their maternity ward.
Experience the thrill of the moment with the Lexus IS.
Lease the 2018 IS300 and IS300 all-wheel drive for these terms.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Hey, we didn't have a homeowner's claim last year, so Allstate's giving us money back on our bill.
Seems fair. Didn't use it.
Wish we got money back on gym memberships.
Get money back.
Hilarious.
With claim-free rewards. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Wet Willie's what they called him on the street. Rogue hoses, rain, and juicy llamas. Soaked his pants waist to feet. Duluth Dry on the Fly pants saved the day. All that water got wicked right away. He goes by Bill today. Duluth Dry on the Fly pants. Unwet your pants. Get a pair. Only at DuluthTrading.com.
I think extreme weather brings out strengths that we never knew we had. We see ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
In all new Heroes and Survivors, tonight at 8.
Coming up, America's new secret pleasure, Deal Dash.
Another package from Deal Dash.
Thanks. I won.
DealDash.com auctions thousands of cool new products and offers a 90-day money-back guarantee on your first bid pack purchase.
Want to go shopping? Can't. I'm in the middle of a really hot auction for some super cute stuff. I won! Woohoo! Mom, what'd you win?
Use promo code BID to get 100 free bids on your first purchase. Visit DealDash.com.
Laser X, the award-winning ultimate. Laser X lets you know when you've been hit and when you need to reload. Inside or out, day or night, all gear works together. You can get the brand new Laser X Micro Double Set for $29.99 and shipping is free. Batteries not included, extra blasters sold separately. Must be 18 years or older to order.
5,000 feet up in New York's Adirondack Mountains, hikers Blake Aloyas and Maddie Popolicio are clinging to life in a blizzard after a terrifying fall.
We tried going back up, but on the way down we had lost our walking sticks, we had lost snowshoes, and the hill was far too steep for us to make it back up.
After 2 nights trapped in freezing conditions and worse weather approaching, rescuers fear the couple won't last another night.
Wind chills would have been about 50 below. So we knew there's kind of a race against time with finding them.
Rescuers are operating on guesswork with no solid clue where the couple might be. But then a breakthrough. Technicians pinpoint the last signal from Blake's cell phone.
One of the law enforcement agencies is there somehow was able to ping one of the victims' phones, and we were told that they were on the northeast poles.
A helicopter circles the area. As it passes overhead, Maddie and Blake can hardly believe their ears.
Hearing that helicopter was like the first real noise and the first sign that we were actually getting out of there. It was the hope that we needed to keep fighting.
Maddie couldn't move because of frostbite and hypothermia, so she was laying there, but I jumped up and started screaming.
On the ground, rescuer Don Meller gets a heartwarming surprise.
Got just below the top of the mountain, and I heard a faint male voice screaming. And I said, I hear him. And then a loud female voice. I said, you gotta be kidding me.
After 2 nights in freezing isolation, the couple's screams have revealed their exact location. In whiteout conditions, ground rescuers battle through the snow toward the sound.
The screams were relentless, and the screams were very, very happy.
We knew somebody was there. We knew somebody was coming for us. It was really overwhelming.
I was very surprised to see them standing and shivering and talking in response. Those were all really good indicators for us.
Rescuers need to get the couple off the mountain fast. Lieutenant Peter McLean's helicopter is the only option. But flying in these conditions is perilous.
The mountain was making its own weather. 1 second it would be semi-clear, the next second it was totally fogged in and you couldn't see your hand in front of you.
Repeatedly, the pilot tries and fails to reach the survivors.
Every time we got within a couple hundred yards of them, the weather just got worse and drove us back down to the bottom of the mountain.
Finally, a weather window opens just long enough for the helicopter to reach the relieved survivors.
You could see they were extremely fatigued, tired, cold, wet, but extremely happy that the rescue got pulled off.
I remember Maddie having this smile on her face and wide open eyes, very awake, and she just seemed like she had just been saved off the top of a mountain.
Maddie and Blake have had a miraculous escape and soon exchange the frozen wilderness for a warm hospital bed.
I don't think there are really words to describe how happy we are that we're survivors. There are a lot of times where we thought it could have completely gone the other way.
Both are treated for hypothermia, and Blake suffers mild but permanent frostbite damage to his toes.
My boots were frozen onto my feet. They couldn't take them off. So they had to warm them up in like a hot water bath.
But the couple has survived, in part because of a love pact that the weather couldn't break. A pact that keeps the couple together years after their misadventure.
This has bonded us forever. You know, when we were there, we talked about getting married, we talked about our lives together, and through everything we've been through, we know we can count on each other. We know we're always going to be there for each other.
Coming up, it's deadly deep-sea drama when a legendary regatta is ambushed by an army of killer winds.
Nobody should have been out there at that time. You cannot sail in a derecho.
So you'll be in the know. Oh, being in the know is very good. Oh, don't shake.
Sign up online for free. Discover Social Security alerts.
You can drink, eat well, and exercise, but to look completely Cetaphil.
Does this map show the Peninsula Trail?
You won't find that on a map. I'll take you there. Take this left. If you listen real hard, you can hear the whales. Hear that?
Our Subaru Outback lets us see the world. Sometimes in ways we never imagined.
Dear Brian and Liz, my favorite part about being an insurance agent is working with people like you. Over the years, I've watched your passion grow into a successful business. It's clear why your family, your nursery, and the things you care about are so valuable. It's why I recommended the Cincinnati Insurance Companies. Thank you for your trust and letting me be part of this journey. Take care. David.
The Cincinnati Insurance Companies. Everything insurance should be.
COPD makes it hard to breathe. So to breathe better, I go with Anoro.
COPD tries to say go this way. I say I'll go my own way with Anoro.
Once daily Anoro contains 2 medicines called bronchodilators that work together to significantly improve lung function all day and all night. Anoro is not for asthma. It contains a type of medicine that increases risk of death in people with asthma. The risk is unknown in COPD. Anoro won't replace rescue inhalers for sudden symptoms and should not be used for tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain while taking Anoro.
Ask your doctor about Anoro.
Get your first prescription free at Anoro.com.
When you're expecting a little angel, be soft. When your little angel expects a lot from you.
You gotta be kidding me, little dude.
Be strong. Life takes softness and strength. That's why we make Angel Soft Mega with more of the value you already love.
Domino's delivery drivers are experts at handling bad roads. But those roads shouldn't ruin your pizza when you carry out. So we're doing something about them, starting with this one. If your drive home is rough on pizza, tell us at pavingforpizza.com so we can fix roads across the country. Then carry out large 3-topping pizzas for $7.99 each.
The Dauphin Island Regatta in Alabama has been a marquee event for some 6 decades, attracting more than 100 boats for an 18-mile race across Mobile Bay. It's the ocean equivalent of a fun run.
U.S. Coast Guard, Mayday, Mayday.
But in 2015, the fun was shattered by a devastating derecho. April 25th, 2015. Race day for the 57th Dauphin Island Regatta. The cloudy but mild weather offers no hint of the thunderstorms forecast the night before. So it comes as a big surprise when a rumor circulates that the race is off.
There was really mass confusion here. Was the race starting? Was it not? Nobody really knew. Some of the racers jumped the gun and started going. They had to pull them back to the starting line.
The misunderstandings mean the race doesn't begin until around 11 a.m., 90 minutes behind schedule. 117 boats cross the starting line, with 476 sailors on board.
The morning of the race, the weather honestly was beautiful. I wasn't expecting rain, but Alabama weather, you never know if it's gonna rain or not.
In the Mobile Bay area, we oftentimes have afternoon thunderstorms, and the winds can go from 0 to 50 or 60 miles an hour in a matter of minutes.
Hannah Blaylock is on her first sailing trip, racing with her best friend's dad, Ron Gaston.
I remember asking Ron, like, what if I mess up? And he was like, don't worry, I'll catch you if you fall. If you fall off of the boat by any chance, like, don't worry about it.
Not everyone on the water is competing. Scott Godbold and his wife are cruising amongst an armada of spectator boats cheering on the racers.
Our main objective to go out that day was to watch our son and just be out there to watch all of our friends and go out to have a good time for the day.
Libby Hoffman is in it to win it. Her crew includes her son, Joshua, who's filming the race on his new camera.
We recorded the start of the race, but we had no idea what else we were going to capture on film that day.
Around 5 hours into the race, the fleet is spread out. But wherever they are on the course, the sight of a huge thunderstorm closing in from the west is ominous.
Look at this. Look at this. Watch them go down below.
We could see that the sky was dark toward the west. The water in the bay looked like it was boiling. It was frothy everywhere, and then it just hit us.
The delayed start has put the boats in the water later than usual, with the unfortunate result that they're now in the path of a freak of nature called a derecho. In Spanish, the word means straight ahead.
A derecho is, this huge cluster of thunderstorms that last for hundreds of miles.
34 miles away, the derecho shows its awesome power on the same day when it rips through this beach party on the Florida-Alabama border, causing widespread panic.
The winds can be...
The boats are sitting ducks as the monster continues its relentless approach.
It got dark, like, instantly, and it went from a normal day to... It was like you were sitting in the middle of a hurricane.
The Dauphin Island Regatta has...
That's a water spout.
Terror grips the entire fleet. The boats are pounded by wind, waves, and blinding rain as lightning flashes dangerously close.
Keep your hands off the metal.
Yeah, once the storm hit, it was just...
Easily can be flipped by these winds, the mast can be broken, people can be tossed out of the boats.
And that's exactly what happens to Ron and Hannah. They are ripped from their vessel and thrown into the raging sea.
I mean, I could barely see Ron, and he was sitting less than a foot away from me. Then the rain hits, and next thing you know, you're in the water. You don't know what to do.
High seas whipped up by a derecho are pushing boaters to the limit in Mobile Bay. But these storms can also produce a rare and life-threatening phenomenon, the meteo tsunami. A normal tsunami wave is generated when a huge volume of water is displaced by a seismic event, like an earthquake. A meteo tsunami comes from a fast-moving weather event. Rapidly changing air pressure from severe thunderstorms, squalls, and derechos can produce a localized wave, pushing it towards shore, where it's amplified by a shallow beach, inlet, or a bay. The tallest meteo tsunami wave on record battered the Croatian town of Vela Luka in 1978. This wave topped 19 feet. That's about the size of a fully grown giraffe and more than twice as high as the tallest human that's ever lived. 33 years later, in 2011, the devastation of a seismic tsunami was captured by countless cameras in Japan. Today, video technology is always in reach. But that was a good thing for one family on a beach vacation in Massachusetts, where technology helped them battle a rip current during a Nantucket.